Welcome back to TXT Track Time. T and I here again to deep dive into the performances of our athletes from last week. And trackers, this week we're going to take a closer look at Shericka Jacko Jackson. But before we get into her race, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your post notifications so that you're aware each time we drop a videos. And track is one more favor. Please go over to our sister-in-law's channel, Dreamverse. It's a lifestyle funny channel, and show her some love by subscribing. We'll drop a link to her channel in the
Why do you keep saying
description
funny? It's
box.
entertaining. You sound like you're from ancient day. You're either telling us that we're taking boats to overseas.
So we'll put it in the description box. So Track is go ahead and show her some love by subscribing. Now Track is getting into Shericka Jackson and her second 400-meter run of the season. Early days yet, we're just in the first week of March, and already we see Shericka onto her second 400 meters. T running 52.05. Now, of course, we know that for Shericka, this is not this. Shericka can go much faster. She is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
400-meter athlete. Well, was at least at first. That's where she got. You know, that's where she started. However, T and I have been looking at her 400-meter runs, and we're starting to speculate: is Shericka Jackson preparing to break the 200-meter world record? I'm liking this groundwork that I'm seeing from Shericka in the 400 meters this year. Last year, I don't think she ran her first 400 until possibly April. So we're seeing her out running the 400s more consistently now, and with her second 400 on the under her belt, only having run two last year, both in April, I'm assuming that we will be seeing more 400-meter races as the season progresses. And to what end? We know what she's capable of in the 100 and the 200. And we're thinking, at least I'm thinking, and T, you can weigh in, for Shericka to break that 200-meter world record. And she is that close, track is. She will need to get that much stronger so that when she's pushing home, she's just flying basically. And I think the 400-meter, like a few 400 meters underneath her belt this season, will definitely put her on track to breaking that 200. It's another championship year, and we all know when it's a championships how well we tend to perform. So we already know that Shericka will be at her best because she has to contend with the Jamaican powerhouses and the rest of the world. So she will be at her best. And then this groundwork that we see her putting in now in the 400, to me, Shericka wants to be better than her best. That is better than her 21.45. Shericka seems to be eyeing that world record. T, what do you think about this crazy notion?
I'm I've been sitting back and watching, and I like to try to figure out what's the next plan for each individual athlete, Jamaican obviously, because I ain't got the time or brain space to think about any other athlete. So I'll be thinking about our Jamaicans all day, every day. And the saying, they live rent free in my brain. They do. Anyway, so I was thinking, and I'm like, typically, since she started the sprints, you would have seen her, running the 400s in maybe starting around Aprilish, and she would have been doing maybe 200s around this time. So me seeing the focus on the 400 meters right now, we haven't seen any 200s, and then we saw, of course, the 60s indoors, and I started to wonder to myself, you know, are we just, trying to get a faster Shericka, just faster? You know what I mean? And then something struck me, and I'm like, this feels like preparation for a world record.
Exactly.
And it definitely feels like preparation for a world record, because if we're not yet into what we would consider the outdoor season yet, and she's only doing 400s, and when April comes around, she'll probably do April, May, she'll probably still be doing a couple, then she's gonna move over to the shorter distances. I'm thinking the strength that she'll gather from that 400. Then when she gets into the 100s now, then she starts working on the speed there, because now she's loaded, right? And she's just working on her strength. And we saw her working on her first 30 in the indoor. So we know, there's definitely a focus there, right? And then when we get to know speed work part now, and she starts to fly, and then we merge that together, what do we get? No, a lot of times we hear, or a lot of times I've heard, just watching track and field over the years, that if you want to be able to maintain your speed over the 100 meters, you have to have a solid 200 meters, right? But what's true for the 200 meters? What do you need to, smash a world record? You need, that flat speed and that 400 strength to come together and merge beautifully. Now, let's take a look at a Shawnee Miller Weber that was able to run crazy fast over the 200. I think 21.8, maybe 21.87, or 7.8, one of those times over the 200. And with little or no, I think she barely dipped under 11 seconds. Like she's like a 10.9 something, right? So if we're looking at a Shawnee that was able to run so fast with you know bottom of the barrel speed, you'll call it, right? What are we talking about? A Shericka that's currently 10.71, right? What are we looking at there? So my thought process is they're working on strengthening her like crazy, like turning her into like a powerhouse, right? And then know when speed, when time comes to speed, and if she can get down into that 10.6 and then merge those together beautifully, you'll have the world record, smack dead in the middle right there for the 200 meters. So I believe wholesomely that Shericka is on the path right now to breaking the 200-meter world record. It's not just all talk. It's not all talk. The work is definitely going in. Like, I'm watching the little moves, and I'm trying to figure out, like, why are these particular moves being made instead of, moves that were made in previous years? Why are we doing this instead of that kind of thing? And to be honest, this is the consensus that I've drawn. We've heard persons say, over the years, that Usain Bolt would have been so much better over the 200 meters if he had competitively run the 400. And competitively doesn't mean running it in a championship, but just running it on a few, with actual 400-meter athletes that will be pushing you understand, to keep that strength. That 200-meter world record would be out of the ballpark. That's what I've heard a lot over the years. So if I'm using all of that thought process and looking at the current Shericka and what they're doing, I believe that is the plan. The plan is to do everything, get you to the maximum strength possible so that you can hold or maintain that speed. Because when we're gonna get you to 10.6. So when we get you to that 10.6 and you have that maximum strength to maintain that speed over that 200-meter distance, we're looking at the world record. We're now at 21.45. What are we gonna get to at the end of this season? I believe it's the world record.
Yeah. And track is, we have been on world record watch for quite a few years between Shelly and Elaine, back and forth for the 100-meter level, and then Elaine for the 200. And then last year we saw Shericka run that ridiculous time, 21.45. And I want to say we did believe that we do believe that we've been on world record watch for a few years with and without Shericka, but I believe that more so now, that 200-meter world record
It's
track is,
definitely on the
this
direction.
is the
Mm-hmm.
year. This is the year. And if I was Sharika's coach, I'd be thinking, strike while the iron is hot. Strike while the fire is hot, whichever one it is track is. We don't know what's gonna happen next year at the Olympics. we have this year and we have the World Championships. We have Shericka running 21:45 last summer. We're building
Let's
from
build on
there.
that.
We're
Yeah.
building from there, track is. We're looking for her to go faster. We're not waiting around until the next year to say, okay, we don't know what's going to happen then. We just need to get it done right now. Now is the time. And I
Yeah,
believe
but
that
but
Shericka.
the intentional things that they're doing as well just shows me, or is telling me, Jackie, they can always tell us, but it's telling me that they are targeting that world record. Well, it may not be so much of a secret now that we're talking about it, but it's giving me world record tease, definitely.
And and trackies, we're so excited. We need to take those world records home to Jamaica to join the great Usain Bolt's 1-2 world records. They belong in Jamaica. So, trackies, tell us what you think in the comments section below. Is Shericka Jackson's training program geared towards breaking that 200-meter world record? Will we see that record go down this year at the World Championships, around, before, during? We'll need to see that record. Trackies, will we see that record? Tell
We're
us what
gonna
you
see
think.
something fast at no, we're not gonna see her at trials for the 200. So yeah, we're definitely gonna see it at the World Championships.
Mm-hmm. So I'm Tam.
And I'm T.
We'll catch you in another one.